And a good morning to you, if you call it that. Oh, wow.
Mr. Fireman, right? You're putting out the fires already.
Oh, what a day. Let me breathe for just a moment. Get my wheels up under me.
Exhale.
I get text and I'm like,
take 4 seconds to exhale.
Then freaking kidding me.
Then inhale. Hold your breath. And then exhale. That'll relax you.
If I inhale and hold my breath, I'll just want to hold it forever. Oh, what a day, what a day. Good morning to you anyway. Glad to have you along with us this morning. Watched the All-Star game last night?
I did. They did some interesting things. I think it's probably a good thing. I mean, the way they mic'd up just about everybody.
Morning, Stephen. I like that too.
Yeah,
that was the thing I liked about the AFF or whatever, you know, the
spring
original,
football league.
Yeah, the two spring football leagues. That was nice.
Yeah,
coaches mic'd, everybody mic'd. I like that. I like that.
The one part that I really enjoyed is the kid that played for the Crawdads not too long ago, a couple of years back, catcher Jose Trevino, who was an All-Star. He got traded from the Texas Rangers to the Yankees in this offseason and became a first-time All-Star. And he got a hit in his first at-bat. He wasn't a starter, but he came in as a sub. And he got on first base and had him mic'd up, and he was talking about, meeting all these famous people that he grew up watching, and Shohei Ohtani and that kind of thing. So I thought it was really interesting, gave you some insight about, how excited a lot of these kids are, and they're kids for a lot of these players, how excited they were about being an All-Star.
It was funny. One of the comments that I heard, I guess it was yesterday before the game, was talking about who started pitching last night. Who was the two starting pitchers? Scherzer one?
No, Clayton Kershaw.
Okay, Kershaw was a starting pitcher.
And the guy for Tampa Bay, left-hander, too.
And then the top batters, that he was going to face initially was Mike Trout and Aaron Judge, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about how huge those two guys were for baseball players because – Judge is like 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah, he is. And Trout's wide.
And Trout's a big man, too.
He's a linebacker.
You don't think about that in baseball.
No.
But and then the other comment that I always hear about Tony was when he hits the ball, it has a very distinctive, different sound than most batters. Mm-hmm. Not just when he hits a long ball, but every time he hits the ball.
Well, Shohei is also – he's 6'5".
Oh, really?
6'6".
Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. I mean, there's some freak athletes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at a lot of these athletes are guys that probably could have played either in the NBA or even professional football.
Mm-hmm.
You got Aaron Judge, you got Mike Stanton or Giancarlo Stanton.
Judge sounds like he sounds like a tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got kids like the Altuve guy for the Houston Astros second baseman. He's Spud Webb. He's 5'5", 5'6", and he's an all-star and hits home runs.
3-2, American League over the National, and I want to say third straight year. Does that sound right?
Something they've dominated
I think they said
lately.
three straight.
And I think all the runs came on home runs.
Yeah. Stanton and Buxton combined for 882 feet of back-to-back homers to give the AL the lead.
If anybody that watched the Buxton home run, they put it about eye level, and he just took a chop at it. I mean, he just swung across, and it flew out. Wow. The one that Stanton hit threw right down the middle, and he hacked it away. But the Buxton one was amazing. It was at his eyes. You normally don't see that. Somebody hitting a home run.
I got a trivia question for you while we're doing baseball.
I got one, too.
The Baltimore Orioles took a 7-foot left-hander named Jared Beck, who would become Major League Baseball's tallest player ever. Now, when I think of tall players, who do I think of?
Randy Johnson.
That's local. Would have been a local player. Played basketball, too, if I'm not mistaken.
A local played baseball, tall?
Baseball and basketball at NC State.
Oh, Tim Stoddard.
Timmy Stoddard.
Yeah.
Wasn't he like 6'7"?
Yeah,
I mean,
he was.
And
he was.
Did he not play basketball too?
Yeah, he
did.
State? Yeah, he played on those teams.
And he was a pitcher. If I remember.
He was.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on those teams with David Thompson.
Yeah,
Monty Town, those guys.
Yeah. But I remember him,
Burleson.
and I remember he was he was big for a pitcher and a baseball player.
Yeah.
When I saw that, that was the first thing that popped in my mind.
Randy Johnson, I think, was 6'10".
Yeah.
So this is the tallest.
7 foot.
Woo.
He is out of St. Leo University, Division II.
Yeah.
Yes.
Out of Florida.
Yep. First pick in the 13th round, I'm sorry. If he makes the majors, he'd pass 6'11" Sean Heigel, Hjelle, and John Roush as the tallest player in Major League Baseball history.
John Roush. Okay, right-hander.
Yep. Jon, John.
Yeah. Rausch or something, and former Hickory Crawdad.
Beck struck out 105 batters in 68 and a third innings for Division II St. Leo this season, posted a 3.95 ERA, pitched summer ball for the Savannah Bananas. Where he stood out on a major league club focused more on wacky entertainment than player development. That is Class A baseball. Mm-hmm. That's kind of the way that works. But they do a good job down at Savannah. These people they buy the T-shirts for the Savannah Bananas. He's got a fastball clocked at 95, and he's got to work on his breaking ball and changeup. But you think of a guy that tall, how much downhill that ball's going to have from up on the mound
if he throws it that way.
Yeah.
There was a guy that played for the Crawdads. He's now the general manager for the Texas Rangers, Chris Young, tall right-hander. He was 6'10", 6'11", I thought, maybe, and he played basketball at somewhere in the Ivy League, and he got drafted and played Major League Baseball, and he played out here. I think he was 6'10", and you'd think somebody that tall would have a fastball that could get up on you in a hurry, but he didn't. He was more of an off-speed pitcher, and he didn't stretch out like you see some pitchers. They stretch their legs out, and when they let the ball go, they are, 55 feet from home plate. It's like throwing a softball because they're that tall. It'd be interesting to see this kid pitch.
The release point.
For him, yeah.
Yeah, it cuts that down a little bit. Lincoln, good morning. He said that's the 9th year in a row for the American League.
Oh, okay. Is that dominant?
So they have dominated that side of it. I thought that was a pretty interesting story.
Yeah. There were 7, and the only reason I know this, the guy that we've had on here before, Wayne Cavati, he covers D2 sports, D2 baseball, and he posted something. There were 17 players that got drafted out of D2 yesterday, and that was one of the 17. And, again, a local kid from Lenore Ryan, Nick Clareno, the catcher, all-conference catcher, he signed with the Braves as soon as the draft was over as a free agent. So there's a chance he could wind up in the minor leagues this year and play, say, for the Rome Braves.
Here's another story that broke. Major League Baseball is moving ahead with plans for advertising on uniforms next season. The new labor contract agreed to in March allows teams to add uniform and helmet advertising patches. The Padres in April became the first team to announce a deal for 2023 with Motorola.
Okay.
Rob Manfred said, I think the jersey patch advertising are a reality of life in professional sports. That's a revenue source that's significant enough that it's really impossible for a sport to ignore over the long haul. Major League Soccer was the first in its North American leagues to allow jersey ads in 2007. I'll get it out here in a minute. Among the other North American leagues, the NBA started selling sponsorship logos for the 2017-18 season. NHL launched helmet ads for 22-21 and began jersey advertising last season.
And how long will it be before we see something like this in college?
Oh, it's
football?
coming.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And it bothers me, and I'll be honest with you, even the golfers have gone over the top. You think of a logo. Normally, you don't want 4 inches the max. Most of the time you want it 3 to 3.5, so it's not gaudy.
Mm-hmm.
They have huge logos, both sides, collar, back of the neck.
Kind of like tattoos.
Hat. I mean, I just
– way back in the day, if you got a tattoo, it was something small And it didn't have a sleeve, didn't cover your whole arm or your whole leg.
Yep.
I guess the advertising is getting like, me either. Mm-hmm. I think the advertisements are getting that way too.
But that bothers me in golf because they're pitching such a fit about the Live Tour, but yet the PGA is allowing walking billboards now with golfers. So if you talk about that, putting golf, the PGA on another level, you've lost that because now you're allowing these guys to wear, give them one logo, sleeves, everywhere, just everywhere.
They're trying to maximize revenue.
And there was never, and I like him, okay, Tommy Fleetwood, better known as Fairway Jesus, that was prohibited back in the day. Mm-hmm. No long hair, no facial hair, no beards. I want to say Craig Statler was the first one to buck that, maybe with the mustache and goat. I can't remember.
And yesterday, I guess the news came out that the Live Tour is now they're now poaching broadcasters.
Already got him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They fared him.
Yeah.
And there's supposed to be an announcement about Chuck.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley.
Yeah. But where? On what network? Are they just going to stream?
Everything's just a stream. They don't have a
network partner.
They don't have a network partner at all.
No.
Mm-mm. No.
But somebody will step up, I'm sure, if they want to.
If it continues, they're going to have to. I heard yesterday, Bob says Chris Young is 6'10".
Okay. I knew he was tall. I interviewed him a couple of times.
I heard this yesterday that one of the things that I won't say it was Cowherd that bothered him about the Live. No, it wasn't. It was Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick that bothers him about the Live. And I have not watched one, so I can't tell you firsthand. They allow him to wear shorts. They allow him to smoke cigars. They allow him to play music. Mm-hmm. When we went on our golf trip, most of those guys put a Bluetooth speaker on the cart and turn on some music, and that's kind of standard.
Yeah, like Rodney Dangerfield.
And that's not – you're not talking about, 20-year-olds. We're all grown, mm-hmm. but that's the new thing. And it never bothered me. The noise and stuff never bothered me. So, I never understood why the golfers themselves, if they wanted to wear shorts, could not wear shorts. The caddies do, except at the Masters. They have to wear the white jumpsuit. The women always have. And I think they can during practice rounds and maybe even the Pro-Am. They just can't do it during the tournament. And I just think you're getting to the point that some, I guess, rules or whatever, they're a little archaic for the times.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you have to make adjustments that are against the integrity of the game or those kind of things, but at the same time, do you really need to ban certain things like that?
Probably. You saw it in tennis back in the 70s and 80s. Everybody mm-hmm. wore white, and now it's color and everything's shown. And it's just progress, I guess, one way or another. It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me. Let me take a quick break, and Bill Bender's going to join us about 8:30.
Untangling your headphones, finding the right remote, saying goodbye to your favorite shirt that hasn't fit in 10 years. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who live in your community and answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like finding a new favorite shirt. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit MooneyInsurance.com.
Times convenience stores are more than convenient. They're your neighborhood store, your store. With locations in Lincoln, Catawba, Gaston, Iredell, and Mecklenburg counties, there's one near you. Times convenience stores have the right items at the right price, from snacks, cold drinks, and light meals from the grill, and there's always a special to save you time and money. Times has what you need. Times convenience stores, there's one near you. Regardless of where you're going, there's one on your way. Remember, there's always time to stop by Times. Have you thought about when you would like to retire? One of your major assets is planning for retirement is time, and you lose a little of it each day. The longer you wait to start accumulating capital for retirement, the harder it's going to be. How should you plan for retirement? Start by calculating approximately how much capital you will need at retirement, then estimate how much you will have to put away each year. Finally, carefully choose the investments in which you will invest. Stifel Nicholas can assist you. Call Ford Rembert today at 828-624-7300. Stifel Nicholas, member SIPC, and the New York Stock Exchange. First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back. Glad to have you here. I had a visitor at the door, and I put in a new door system. It's a maglock. It's got a code outside, and everybody that needs to get in has a code. And I can buzz you in, and I can turn it off. But I like to keep my door locked. I've just gotten funny that way. I saw a guy walking yesterday. And all he had on was a pair of shorts and looked like a beer going down the road. So yeah, I don't want to be in here in the back or working and somebody sneak up on me. Sorry. Bob said, I think shorts would be better than John Daly and Ian Poulter's breeches. I like their breeches, Bob. Just wait till you see my new golfing attire for the tournament next year. I'm going to get when I was at the beach out on 17 Bypass, I found the golf knickers store. I like knickers. I like wearing. I had a pair years ago, and I just wore white sanitary hose. Is what I use for my socks. But they've got the custom Argyle, custom colors that match the breeches and the shirt and the hat, the whole deal.
and I think it's about $160, $70 for the whole outfit: socks, pants, shirt, hat.
And you're going to wear that one time a year?
Yeah.
Because you can, right?
Because I can. Yeah. I got to make a statement. Yeah.
A fashion statement.
Fashion statement. Yeah. Because that's just who I am. I am bothered by the uniform ads. And that's just me. That's just quirky me. I also heard something yesterday, and I don't remember this, and I've told you how I feel about Denny McClain.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Denny McClain that served up Ted Williams' 500th home run, if I'm not mistaken.
That would have been in the early 60s.
Does that sound right?
Probably.
Does that sound right?
That would have been before, he had his great year in the late 60s.
And it didn't bother him. He may have wanted to be noted as the pitcher that pitched the 500th home run, But I thought that's a whole different game level of respect of players back in those days. I thought that was
well. One thing you're going to hear about more with baseball this year, looking at next year going forward, is that they're going to balance the schedule, and it's going to be so. For instance, the Braves and Mets normally going to play 18 or 19 times a season because they're in the same division. I think next year they're going to play 12 times. And they're going to maybe 10 times, 9 or something like that. And the Braves are going to play the Kansas City Royals 9 times or 10, whatever the number is. And they're going to play the California or the Los Angeles Angels, same thing. So they're going to every team in the league is it's not going to be separated as much, National and American League. They're going to play more balanced. So you're going to play the team in your division as many times as you're going to play somebody else in the other league in another division. I don't know if that's good or not.
They always said the All-Star game meant more when there was no interleague play.
Correct.
Okay. Now, and here again, I do not want to stretch my baseball knowledge this early in the morning. There's no real difference between the National League and American League now in rules, correct?
Correct.
So it really doesn't matter. So it's almost like the NFL with the AFC and the NFC.
Yeah.
It's just two conferences.
It is, two conferences. And obviously the players are a lot different than what they were back in the 70s and when the All-Star game was meant if you won and you played harder maybe, and it was a pride thing that you played for the National League or the American League. And the rules were a little bit different back then.
And why? Why? What?
Well, I think part of it has to do with the reserve clause, which means that if you played for a team, got drafted or signed with the team, you played for them until they let you go or you retired. You didn't have the ability to change teams.
Before free agency.
Yeah, way before free agency. So you did not have the ability to pick and choose the team you want to go to or play out your option. You were pretty much stuck with, or you were obligated to, or whatever the term you want to use, that was the team you were going to play for. You had no other choice. And I think teams and players probably got used to that, and there was some pride knowing that, hey, we're going to play the American League All-Stars, and I play on a National League team. I've been playing with these guys, these All-Stars, for a long, long time. Like, you think about Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and a lot of those guys that played in the 70s that were perennial All-Stars. If they had the ability to change teams, would that have made baseball as popular? If Henry Aaron ended up playing for and he did later in his career, but had he played, say, for the Texas Rangers? Had he played out his option and signed as a free agent? And Pete Rose did it at the end of his career. He played with the Phillies and the Montreal Expos.
But I think the generation of fans has changed that doesn't matter. They just watch. And the other thing, and I've never done it in any other sports, one of the things that really, I guess you could say, killed that dedication to a team is fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
Because it's more about my team, that I'm playing fantasy with. And if you play fantasy football, if you've got 14 players, you may be represented by 10 different teams. So you're watching those teams and players and more concerned about that than you are watching your team. I was never that invested in fantasy. It's okay, but I want to watch my team or I want to watch a certain game. I'm not interested in that certain player.
You know, when you look at some of these players and the ability to move and become free agents, I think the one reason why that has become so popular, along with, as you mentioned, the fantasy, is because there's no salary cap. And the players can play out after 5 or 6 years. They're going to become a free agent depending how early they got called up. They could be in their mid to late 20s, and they can play out their option and sign as a free agent elsewhere. And I think that's hurt a little bit some of the teams not able to keep their own talent.
Does that ever change?
Well,
you can't put that genie back in the bottle and come up with a salary cap for baseball.
Well, it's funny you say that. Is yesterday at the All-Star game, one of the press conferences, the head of the Players Union, Tony Clark, suggested that the Baseball Players Union might be interested in negotiating a salary floor. And if you got a salary floor, they cover it up with a different type of language. It's a salary floor and a salary cap, or they call it luxury tax or whatever you want to call it. But he came out yesterday, and it's in the national media. There should be articles about it, that he said, hey, we're open to the idea of teams having to spend a certain amount of money, but also they have a cap at whatever they have to come up.
I can't believe they said they would be okay with the cap. I'm sure they were good with having to spend money because that puts more money in the players' pockets.
Well, the owners have said somewhere along the line of $100 million as the floor, and $180 or $190 million as the cap. They call it something else, luxury tax threshold. But in the Players Union says we want the owners to pay more than $100 million, and they want to lift the cap to 200 or 215, whatever it is. So either they're negotiating in the media, or there's some negotiating going on behind the scenes. But I think some baseball players and maybe the union's coming to the realization that there can be more money realized, more revenue realized, if they share it with a salary cap put in place like they do in other sports.
I was going to look, and I've looked at this before, to see, okay, the Dodgers this year, the Dodgers payroll's $261.
That's insane. It is.
And the lowest
Pittsburgh,
is the A's and the Orioles at $48. Pittsburgh and the Guardians are at $68.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought it was lower than that. Okay.
No, not according to Sport Track. The league average is $148.
Okay. So I'm guessing.
But if you went in at 200, you've got 6 teams above 200 right now. Red Sox, I'm going up backwards. Red Sox, Padres, Phillies, Yankees, Mets, Dodgers.
Yeah, all big market teams. All big market teams.
What determines big market? Is Houston a big market?
Yeah, third largest TV market.
Toronto.
In the country. They're the only market in
Toronto's
in
11th.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Minnesota's not, Milwaukee's not,
No.
Washington, Cincinnati.
Washington is.
Really?
I mean, Washington,
They're
D.C.
19.
Yeah, they are rebuilding. They sold off some of their players and let others go, and so they're starting from scratch.
Okay. All right, I need to take a quick break, get Bill on the phone. And
SEC Media Days this week.
We'll be back in just a moment.
Whether it's a sit-down meal or a call-in for the drive-thru, Brookwood Cafe and Catering is the answer. A variety of meats, vegetables, and desserts cooked daily, or a hot sandwich from the grill, they have what you're looking for to satisfy your taste buds. If you need catering from 5 to 500, Brookwood has you covered as well. Stop by Brookwood Cafe and Catering at 202 Providence Mill Road in Maiden. Don't forget breakfast daily till 11 a.m. Open Tuesday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., Wednesday through Saturday 6 a.m. till 8 p.m., and Sunday from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Call 828-428-8944 to place your order today.
Covenant Church began as a vision of just over 100 people in 1984. Since then, Covenant Church has grown and currently located at 2168 Gastonia Highway in Lincoln. The Sunday schedule includes early morning worship at 8:30, Sunday school at 9:45, and morning worship at 10:45. Their ministries extend beyond Sunday. Visit their website at www.covenantchurch.church to see all they have to offer, and better yet, stop by and see for yourself. Covenant Church may be just what you're looking for a new church home.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
In the best of times, no one is more deserving of every opportunity, encouragement, and support than the youth in our communities. Parents, teachers, coaches, and sponsors struggle to stretch their budgets to continue help. Communities need a team effort. Times Oil Corporation, a longtime member of the community, established the Times Educational Alliance Mission, or Team Foundation. Since 2011, over $125,000 in grants have been donated in the community. Times Oil and the Team Foundation are proud to be community partners.
And welcome back to the bottom line. We'll head straight to our phones as we do each Wednesday and check in with our good friend Bill Bender from Sporting News. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing good. I'd ask you off the air before we went on that if you were at the SEC days and you said no, that you've got an editor that's handling that, you're headed to Big Ten days. How much talk at Big Ten days will there be about future conference expansion?
I mean, I'm sure it'll be one of the leading topics, especially with UCLA and USC and everything that happened this summer. It was a lead topic last year. So, yeah, I mean, that's one of many. And, you know, these media days, I haven't seen, at least from the early ones, anything like earth-shattering coming out of them so far. So they've become a pretty buttoned-up event, and we'll see if there's some fireworks over the next couple days. SEC or ACC, but I don't think there will be.
I was going to say, have Nick and Jimbo kissed and made up, you think?
I don't necessarily know that they've done that, but I think they've probably Sankey put the mute button on both of them, and that's what happened. You know, I don't think you're going to hear anything over the top from either one of those. Some of that will be re-drummed back up. I mean, that was the highlight of any media we're going to get this summer for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill, everything you hear and read, if you follow college football, Alabama, Georgia, and the SEC are the obvious favorites. But I'm curious, what do you think? Who do you think is the third best team in the Southeastern Conference?
I mean, you can make a case for a lot of teams. Mm-hmm. You know, I think we have Texas A&M as the third best, but they could just as easily lose to Ole Miss or even LSU in the SEC West this year. And then in the SEC East, you have Kentucky, Tennessee, South Carolina coming off the 7-6 season. I mean, it's a wide open debate for that. So I think if I was picking one, I'd probably pick Texas A&M. I think they have a lot of talent back. They have a chance to prove it early in the season against Miami. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And they have to prove it against Appalachian State, who I think they travel down to Texas A&M the second or third week of the season. That's going to be interesting. But if you remove Georgia and Alabama, would you say the SEC is as balanced as they've been in a long time?
Yeah, I mean, all the way down in the West, you know, Mississippi State, Arkansas is another kind of sleeper. They've got a really good quarterback coming back with KJ Jefferson. And then in the East, it goes all the way down to, you know, I mean, Vanderbilt, obviously, I don't know if they're built to win an SEC championship, or Missouri. But Florida, with a new coach, Billy Napier, is going to be very fascinating to watch, especially if he can get the most out of Anthony Richardson.
Mm-hmm. Bill, you did an article, and I'm struggling to understand why would fans be clamoring to get NFL games some NFL games in big college stadiums. Most NFL franchises, when they build a stadium, other than like a Jerry World or some of these other Taj Mahals, most of them are too big now. They can't sell out everything. They're kind of cutting back a little bit on regular seats and focusing more on the luxury stuff, whether it's like the Panthers have got. They've got a luxury section that's not really a suite, but it's a luxury section. You set separate. You've got private dining, those type things. You know, and in the article you talk about the 17th game. Give me a little background on what brought that about.
You know, I saw that in Peter King's column. A reader kind of submitted that, and I let my brain roll a little bit. And some of them would be cool to me. I mean, it'd be cool to watch the Bengals and Browns at Ohio Stadium. It would be cool to watch, you know, the Giants and Colts in Yankee Stadium, because I'm an NFL history nerd, and, you know, all the way back to 58, that would be cool. Some of those SEC campuses, it would be cool to see a college football game on them, or an NFL game on those. It'll never happen, like you said, because of the suites, because of the very corporate nature of the NFL. But, I mean, they're sending a lot of games to foreign countries. Why can't you just put a couple games on college football stadiums? I mean, it'd be, and those stadiums, those college football stadiums are huge.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I say, why not?
Well, you know, it's not really a college football stadium, but it was used for many years. When you talk about the Coliseum in L.A., that was something that was used for everything practically. But, you know, it just – I don't know how your season ticket holders would feel about that, having to travel, you know, for their quote-unquote last home game. It doesn't lend itself. I can see where it would be neat, but it doesn't lend itself. One of the things that I would like to see, and we haven't really talked about it yet this season, I'd like to see the playoffs changed and some home games in the early rounds of the playoffs if the playoffs expand.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we want in college football, absolutely, is some home games on campus. I don't know that that'll happen either, though, because of the money involved. Right. And, you know, Gene Smith, they'll be regionalized. It'll feel a little bit, I think, like the NCAA tournament, where, you know, a first-round game is in Indy or Minnesota, Minneapolis, those kinds. I think that's coming when they do expand the playoff. They're just going to put the games on regional neutral sites and justify it that way.
You know, Deshaun Watson, they're looking for a decision to come down. The Browns are – everybody's posturing themselves. They let Baker go. He's a Carolina Panther now. But it looks like everything's posturing. There's different talk. The Players Association is threatening a lawsuit if he gets a year's suspension. But you still got Roger Goodell in charge of it. But one of the things that I heard yesterday in talking about this is there's a clause in the latest contract that talks about the franchise, the management, the ownership has to be held to even a higher standard than what the players are. Well, the Texans have already settled, and nothing's really come down from the league with 30 lawsuits pertaining to the Deshaun Watson thing. Do you see some posturing going on, and maybe the Browns don't lose Deshaun Watson for the year?
I don't think he'll be suspended for the year. I've thought all the way through 8 down to 6. That's what I've thought since day one. That feels like an 8 down to 6 or a 6 down to 4. Because if they give him just 2 games, the outrage on one side is going to be too high. And then if they give him 16, the outrage on the he didn't do anything side will be too high. But I think that's why I've always 8 to 6 is going to be the sweet spot on this. And maybe or 6 to 4. I think that I have nothing to back that up. That's just how I feel when I read all these reports. So I don't see a way where he's just reinstated. You don't have a disciplinary hearing in the NFL with the guy coming out and not facing a suspension. That would be unprecedented.
Juju shared a tweet yesterday of Shane Beamer, and he's kind of got into the Twitter, TikTok kind of world. That's a whole new face for South Carolina. You've got Spencer Rattler down there. A lot of folks think is going to do well. Do you really see South Carolina making noise in the SEC?
the ability to go 7-6 last year without a quarterback essentially was pretty impressive. And Shane Beamer is young. I saw that video. And then I saw South Carolina and Clemson fans going back and forth about Shane Beamer doing that versus Dabo doing the gritty. And I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, on the field, though, I think they're going to be pretty good. And, Spencer Rattler's the most talented quarterback they've probably ever had. But the schedule's really tough. It's really tough early in the season. So I could see them going 8-4 and having some ups and downs and maybe beating somebody they shouldn't and losing to somebody they shouldn't with that kind of schedule.
Talking with Bill Bender, Sporting News. Take out your crystal ball. Tell me what Notre Dame's future looks like. They're asking for $75 million from NBC. They're only getting $15 million now. And I didn't realize this, that's only for the home games because they play their other games on another network. Does NBC bite on that, or does Notre Dame wind up having to get into a conference to get more money?
I think Notre Dame's in a good spot for now, like in terms of being somebody that people want, whether it's a TV network like NBC or other TV networks, whether it's a conference like the Big Ten or the SEC and the HEC where they can kind of drive the spinning war for their services, whether it's a uniform company. A source to me last night said they've got 2 years left on that deal. So they're in position to make a lot of money, and they'll play football in there somewhere too, but their brand power is still very valuable to the sport, and I think their success the last 5 years, 5 straight years of 10-plus wins, you can't say Notre Dame's overrated. You can say Notre Dame hasn't quite become a national championship contender, but in terms of successful, you can't argue what they've done.
Are they at a point, Notre Dame, that they don't really care what some of the other conferences or some of the other schools and universities think about them, or do they a school that want to be wooed?
Oh, they're more on. They're going to cling on to their independence as long as they can. But they're probably enjoying the attention because yes, in the next evolution of college football, they are a huge piece. What they do really determines what happens next. In terms of super conferences and those kind of things.
If Notre Dame does agree to come into a conference, is that when we really start to see this thing fine-tuned down into the top cream of the crop?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're the link that will determine, where the SEC goes in terms of expansion. Which right now they've, thank you, said they're not really looking at that. Where the Big Ten goes, do they take more schools up the West Coast afterward? Where the ACC goes in terms of how do they keep their value? So all of that fits together, and Notre Dame's going to be the biggest piece of the next realignment puzzle.
Most of the talk I'm hearing is the Pac-12 and the ACC will be the two conferences that pretty well go away. It'll be SEC, Big Ten, and Big 12 will gobble up, and then whoever's left just has to find something else. Bill Bender, as always, we appreciate your time, sir. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to really getting college football kicked off here in just a couple weeks.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks,
guys.
buddy. Appreciate it. That's Bill Bender, Sporting News. That was a comment that I heard yesterday, that's going to be the two conferences that kind of become the have-nots.
If you have three or four,
who they've got left.
If you got 3 or 4 teams or schools out of the ACC that leave, then what are you going to do with the other 8, right? Where are they going to
the names that I heard thrown out yesterday was Carolina,
Clemson, Florida State.
No, Carolina, Duke, State, Virginia Tech to the Big Ten. That wraps up. It's becoming the footprint per state. What states do you want represented inside your conference? Then the SEC would be Clemson, Florida State, Miami, possibly Georgia Tech. I can remember when Georgia Tech was an independent for years before they joined the ACC. So I don't know. What else you got there, sir?
Oh, I was going to ask Bill about the Nick Saban comment yesterday.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
They asked him that he usually sometimes he'll set the table. He started talking about retirement, and he said that he loves his job, he loves coaching, likes his relationship with his players, loves the competition. When you're the best like that, that can always happen. But he said, I need for you guys, and he's talking to the media, to ask some of these other coaches who come up here, ask them when they go out and recruit, why are they telling recruits that I'm getting ready to retire? He said, I'm not getting ready to retire. He said, I love what I'm doing. I love my job. And if I retire, what am I going to do? Where else am I going to find something that I love to do as much? So he kind of put the media on notice to say, hey, you got some of these coaches out here. And that's probably what they do. They're saying, hey, you don't want to sign with Alabama because Nick's not going to be there in another year or two.
And he's 70.
70 or 71.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I thought he was right there close. I hope Shane Beamer doesn't have egg on his face after all this. We'll just kind of have to see.
Mac Brown did that. There have been other coaches that go in there and do the dance.
Just in case you don't know, Mac is back. He's picking up the recruits. The pressure, he's turning the pressure on himself.
Yeah, I mean, their recruiting class is pretty impressive. Now, back to Nick Saban, I didn't realize this until I saw something yesterday. He is 183-25 as a head coach with Alabama.
How many years?
15.
Wow.
You take out the first year, they lost 6 games his first year. Mm-hmm. So they've lost, what, 19 games? 19 games in 14 years. That's pretty impressive. That's like 89% of the games that they won. It's sick.
It's the best college football money could buy.
It is.
No. I just think how it's handled.
It'll develop into something else, and maybe there will be guardrails that are put up with that. And maybe there will be guardrails to put up with transfer portal and that type of thing. We'll see. Let me run a trivia question by you.
Yes, sir.
Name the only football player that has won all of this. A national championship, college football. He's won a Heisman. He's won an NFL MVP. He has won a Super Bowl MVP. He has won a Super Bowl. He has made it to the College Football Hall of Fame. And he has made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Only one person has done all that. National championship, Heisman Trophy, NFL MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Super Bowl champion, College Football Hall of Famer, Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Time frame?
70s and 80s. 80s and 90s.
I got nothing. 80s and 90s. I'm trying to think of college. You said a national champion and a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Position?
Running back.
Football Hall of Fame. Nothing comes to mind.
Let's see if I give you some clues that without giving it away. Went to the same school as Matt Leinart.
NFC, AFC.
AFC.
See if anybody else is guessing.
Okay. Played for Marty Schottenheimer, and he got traded to the Kansas City Chiefs late in his career.
Oh, I don't know. Now I'm really confused.
Running back. Southern California.
Yeah, I knew you was talking about Southern Cal.
Wore number 32. Had that great run in the Super Bowl against the Redskins. He went one way, turned and went the other, and went.
Marcus Allen. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, Marcus Allen.
I'd have never guessed that one.
That's pretty impressive.
Now, was Pete Carroll the coach at SC, or
John
Robinson?
I think John Robinson.
Okay, I couldn't remember that was probably before Pete's tenure.
Yes, yeah, it was.
But John Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay. I got a few on this day in history.
Okay.
Sports history. 1911, Boston Red Sox, Smokey Joe Wood.
Okay.
No hits. The St. Louis Browns 5-0. I always bring up these guys that I want to say his name was dropped in Field of Dreams. Some of the old baseballers that are in that.
Maybe there were several Smokies and Smokey Joes and Lefties. There are a lot of nicknames back then.
Whitey Ford, 1956, Yankee pitcher Whitey Ford ties an AL record of 6 straight strikeouts. That
and his
doesn't
nickname?
seem like a lot.
Remember his nickname?
Whitey Ford?
Yes.
No.
Chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board. I do not remember that.
Yes.
I do not remember that. 1958, Detroit Tiger future Baseball Hall of Fame pitcher Jim Bunning no hits the Red Sox 3-0. And he's
Really?
a former senator.
Yeah, from Florida. But
Okay.
Detroit?
Yeah.
I thought he pitched for the Phillies. Jim Bunning pitched for the Pirates. I didn't know he pitched for Detroit. I could be wrong, but
This is 1958.
maybe he started out with them. I remember him in the late 60s and early 70s.
Okay, in 64, he threw a perfect game against the Mets for the Phillies.
Okay.
Oh, here's a good one for Jim Bunning. In May of 67, Hank Aaron hits his only inside-the-park home run.
Off of Jim Bunning. Okay.
Yeah. That's and he went in the Hall of Fame with Earl Weaver.
Wow.
Is who Jim Bunning went in with.
Yeah, there haven't been too many baseball Hall of Famers that have gone on to have political careers. Have there?
Not that I can think of baseball. You got a few football and some basketball.
Yeah, you got Bill Bradley.
Hank Aaron hit his last home run today.
Wow.
In 1976, 755. And it was off the Angels' Dick Drago.
Playing for the Milwaukee Brewers.
It's where Hank was playing?
Yeah.
He'd already left them. Okay.
He left the Braves and got traded back to the Brewers where he started.
Okay. 1991, Mike Tyson was accused of raping a Miss Black America contestant. In 1994, The Juice offers a $500,000 reward for evidence of his ex-wife's killer. I wonder if he claimed that himself.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I was going to mention, when I said the Marcus Allen, I was going to give you a clue, was good friends with O.J. Simpson or played with O.J. Simpson.
I still wouldn't have got it.
Okay.
Still wouldn't have got it. 2021, last year, the NBA Finals, the Bucks beat the Suns 105-98 in Game 6 to win the first title in 50 years. The Greek Freak had 50 points.
Wow.
I don't even attempt his name because I'm pretty sure I would just butcher that.
Quick thought, what did you think of the Panthers' new black attire, black helmets, black uniforms?
But they've had one before.
Black helmets? It's kind of a different, is it
the matte color?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the matte color. I didn't think I would.
I like the blue.
We got a Newton over there, and I think that new Lincoln helmet, or pretty new Lincoln helmet, is the matte colored as well. How about a few birthdays? Chuck Daly, American Basketball Hall of Fame coach, two-time NBA champion Detroit Pistons, was born on this day in 1930.
I think did he not coach the Dream Team?
I think he
was the Dream Team head coach.
I think he was on one of those, yeah.
I think it was the first one, yeah.
How about Jake Scott? Remember Jake Scott?
I
played for the Dolphins.
And the Redskins.
Okay. Born on this day in 1945, College Football Hall of Fame safety, played at the University of Georgia, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, Super Bowl 72 winner, and MVP in 73.
Had 2 interceptions against the Redskins in that Super Bowl. It kind of saved them.
He passed away in 2020. Do you know where he was born? He's a local boy. Kind of.
Let's see. Spartanburg.
You're close. Greenwood.
Okay.
Greenwood. Lincoln says, July 20th, 1969, where were you guys? I have no idea.
I was 8 years old, so I was probably playing Little League, getting ready to play Little League baseball.
I was 9. What's the significance there, Lincoln? I don't recognize.
July 20th, 1969.
Mm-hmm. I have to go look it up.
Let's
see if we've got any other birthdays for today.
Would that have to be baseball all-star game?
Yeah, but it's got to be more than that.
When maybe that was 70. When Pete Rose ran over Ray Fosse?
Nah, that's possible. Ray Allen, American basketball guard, 10-time NBA star, was born this day in 1975. Everybody's younger than we are, just in case you're wondering. Ben Simmons was born on this day. He's been a disappointment.
Yeah, he has.
In basketball.
Doesn't have a shot. I mean, he doesn't have a really develop and create your own shot kind of player.
We should have known this. It was the landing on the moon.
Oh, I was thinking sports.
Lincoln and Bob and Lincoln Pauly said he was in Southeast Asia.
Oh.
My cousin was in Southeast Asia then, too. Yeah. And it wasn't on a fun trip, I don't think. Was it, Lincoln? I don't believe it was.
I was probably sitting in front of the TV because that was a big thing back then.
I can remember, and I've told this story before.
Get away from that TV.
We used to have.
Don't get so close.
You know, in the old days, we had auditoriums and we had chapel programs. That's what they were called. But I can remember when they first started doing the moon launches, they would bring us in the auditorium and they'd put like a 20-inch TV on a cart, black and white, up on stage, and we would watch the rockets take off because that was important. There's only one TV in the school. You didn't have TVs for all the rooms and stuff like you do now.
Well, you knew that if they wheeled in one of those carts and had a reel-to-reel even, it was going to be one of those days if your teacher did that.
Wow.
It was going to be an easy day because the teacher's going to put on a film or a movie, and it was fun time.
And you had the old movie projectors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, you remember those days. All right, we got to get out of here. It's Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. Back again tomorrow. Somebody will be here, I hope. If not, we'll miss you. Have a great day, everybody. Be safe. If you've got stuff to do, don't wait till the weekend. 97 and 98 projected highs for Saturday and Sunday. Heat index 105 plus.
Head to the mountains.
The mountains of Bush. Have a good day.